So tell me about Spawn. Where did Spawn come from?
It's interesting. Spawn, I created him when I was in high school. So again, that's when I fell in love with comic books. When I first started collecting, I started buying comic books when I was about 15, 16. So I was a late bloomer, if you will. And I created 20 characters, but the one that was always my favorite was this character called Spawn. I still have, and I started a comic book when I was that age, and I still have the artwork. And the costume was essentially the same. I mean, other than I added some spikes and sort of made it a little more hip, it was still the same mask and the same markings and the cape and the cowl and all that other stuff. The original story that I did, though, took place on a sci-fi planet. Because at that time when I created him, Star Wars was all the rage.
Right.
So, but interestingly, by the time I created that in the mid-'70s, so the original Spawn in high school. By the time 1990, late 91, early 92 comes around, we've formed Image. I pull Spawn out, I dust him out, I come up with the story, and I didn't actually go back and read what I had done in high school. But a few years later, I did, and I was surprised at actually how close it was to the original. It was still the same thing. I scarred him. I took the skin away from him. He was still lamenting about his love, and that there were giant forces against him. The only difference was is that he was doing it on a planet that was foreign to it. So I made it contemporary in 1992 when we had to come out with our first book, and he was off to the races. So. Spawn, the character at the beginning, and has a lot of sort of my personality and trait. And if you read those first few issues, he was sort of pushing people around for not paying their child support and for sort of mishandling the secretary, getting fresh with the secretary. And I was sort of putting some personal stuff into it. I've gone, if I had all that power, the bad guys to me aren't the guys with the big laser gun. They're the guys that are just walking out there right now doing stuff to other human beings they shouldn't. And then I just gave them sort of a big sort of reason for existing, which was that he would trade everything for the love of his life. Right. And again, that was all based upon I'd do it in a second. And I actually believe, even if people deny it, I don't care what religion you are, I think most people in the blink of an eye, if you can say goodbye to a loved one at that golden moment, I think you would take it. You would do the same thing that Al Simmons did as Spawn. You wouldn't read the fine print. If I don't know if you have a wife and family or kids or friends, whatever, there's somebody out there. Yep. You got hit by a bus. You didn't get a chance to say goodbye, right? It's not like you're on your deathbed surrounded by loved ones. You got hit by a bus, and you just go, wow, that's it. I don't get to go home and kiss the kids one last time. So for me, it was just him just grasping. It just, in this case, because it's comic books, he made a deal with the devil in the biggest way. So, and the book sort of kick-started from there.